Welcome back, my sweet pleasure seekers. For those of you who have listened to the first segment and you're like, oh man, I got some traumas because I got fears. If I got fears, that means I got traumas. And I think his work is the most amazing because it's such a cool way to look at it. Like if you've got fear, there was an original trauma. So let's look at the next layer of that, that bullseye. So you've got the clouded soul, you've got fear on top of that, like in the next layer. And then on top of that, you have false, what does they call it? False ideas, false beliefs, false beliefs. So false beliefs cover our fears. So what are some of the false beliefs you might have out there? So false belief for me, I'll talk about the one about the mice. Like the false belief for me had to do a lot with, I'll never have money. Everybody's convinced me I'm going to be poor my whole life. I have a glass ceiling of how much I can earn. Oh, crap, I'm going to be in this poverty my whole life. Like I'm going to always live on the edge my whole life. How stressful is that, right? You don't even realize that your body is constantly running these messages, and they're silent sometimes. Sometimes you can hear them loud in your head, and no, you're not crazy, because these are experiences that you know. So they're memories sometimes running, sometimes they're things that you don't realize you remember, but they're just these like noises in your head, and you're like, what the heck is happening? False beliefs. So if you have false beliefs too, so we're going to take this into the sexual arena, because we're going to look at the trauma of sexual abuse. And I'm going to not just sexual abuse, any kind of sexual trauma. So let me be clear on some sexual traumas, because I want to really connect this show to you for sexual traumas. So sexual traumas, we talked about some of the obvious. We talked about rape, penetration. We talked about things like genital mutilation. And on this site, they call, they specifically call out female genital mutilation, but I'm going to go for male genital mutilation as well. I mean, I'm not against men being circumcised if there's like a religious reason why that's been going on for 100 years, and there's something that has you feel like it's tradition and you want to connect with it, and it helps you feel deeply connected to your beliefs. That's one thing. But if you're doing it for some other reason, I also categorize that as a kind of genital mutilation. Yes, I do. So I'm just saying, you're cutting a body part. It's just as much as if you cut somebody's earlobe off. I mean, that little part of their ear, they might not need it. However, it's still a mutilation. So I'm just saying.